Hello all Hollywood Western Wardrobe fans. Today's video, this is going to deal with John Wayne, and this is going to have a little, I'm trying to think of the correct word here, a kind of a prequel to what is coming in my next videos. So today I'm going to talk about John Wayne shirts. And you're going to notice that there are two shirts and some fabric on a table there. And I want to talk to you guys so you know that I know I research and research and research. And we as a company try to match everything as we can that is humanly possible. Now, I would love to find a warehouse that had vintage fabric that was in pristine condition and it matched all of John Wayne's and everybody else that I'm trying to do. But unfortunately, I know of no such warehouse. If you do, comment below. I would love to go see it and buy it. But until that day comes, we have to do only what we can do. And so I'm going to start off talking about a very iconic shirt that John Wayne wears. Now, when trying to match up colors and buttons and what have nots, we're usually going off screen grabs, and those screen grabs can vary. I don't know if filters were used, if some different kind of process took place, because you can go, and I'm going to say, I'll use this shirt for example, John Wayne in the Searchers. I can pull up photos where the color matches this when he's wearing his, I'm going to say the red bib shirt. He also wears a blue one. He wears some different shirts in that movie we'll cover at a later date. But right now we're talking about John Wayne's red bib shirt. And then for when I watch the movie, the shirt looks like it is a faded red, maybe a little bit of an orange tint to it. And that's going to come into this fabric down here. But I'm going to get into that here in a second. So John Wayne, this shirt here, which we also use as our Searcher shirt, okay? But this is not really correct Searchers. But as I stated, we try to find things that we get as close as possible. And I can pull you screen grabs and stuff like that, showing that, oh, this is the color. But in reality, it's not. Now, however, this is the correct shirt for Rio Bravo, my all-time favorite movie. But in the Searchers, I said that he wears a faded red. And lo and behold, here is a faded red fabric that I found. And guys, I don't think it's going to get any closer than that right there. Now, before everybody starts asking, oh, are we going to start making shirts out of this? The answer is no. And let me explain. First off, the fabric is very expensive. And the most important thing is, guys, it is hard to find this stuff. I mean, very, very hard to find it. And I was lucky enough to get some fabric to make me a shirt, and two of my close buddies that are huge John Wayne fans. And after I promised, like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this for you guys. And when I went out to buy the fabric, I just couldn't buy it like, oh, I actually needed 12 yards to make 3 shirts. And it wasn't there. Oh, I could buy a quarter of a yard over here and a half yard over here and maybe a yard over here, but I don't know if those came off the same die lots. And so I could get, so it's the same manufacturer, but I could get it all in and it not match. Trust me, Elaine can tell you stories on, hey, I bought the same fabric and I can't use one bolt with the next bolt because the fabric's got a different shade to it. It's die lots. So with that being said, I was lucky enough, and I say lucky enough, to get 12 yards. In fact, after I put my order in, they only had 1 yard left. Now, if I could get this stuff on a drop of a dime, I promise you we would make these shirts for everybody that wanted one. Unfortunately, that is not the case here. The other issue is buttons. John Wayne in the Searcher, and I'm going to say probably Rio Bravo as well, we use a black button, rimmed button. Now, on the Searcher shirt, when he's wearing the blue shirt with the white buttons, these are the correct buttons, only we have them in white. Rio Bravo and the Searchers, and I believe the Searcher shirt, which is made out of this fabric, or something very, very, very close to it, is also the same shirt that he wears in the Comancheros and McClintock. And the buttons are, this is the closest I can find. And it looks like a metal black button. And the trick to this one is, I think John Wayne's, if I'm not mistaken, once again, I'm looking at screen grabs, camera angles, glares and stuff, but his might have had like a ring around it and possibly something in the center, like a little raised tit, we'll say, but I'm not sure. It's just too hard to tell. But I know it was a semi-domed black metal button. This is semi-domed, as you guys can see right there. Thing is, this is not metal. This is plastic. And I bought everything they had to complete the shirts I needed to complete. And it's just for the buttons on the bib. Not the shirt buttons or the cuff buttons, just the bib buttons. And that is another reason we can't make these shirts. Now, a lot of you guys know that we have made the Doc Holliday vest buttons. If, this is a big if we could get this fabric at a drop of a dime at any given point, I would have these buttons made. But because we can't, it's expensive doing the buttons and stuff, and I'm just going to have to bow out. Now, am I kind of rubbing it in your face that I get this shirt? Nobody else except from 2 buddies of mine. I'm not trying to rub it in your face. I'm just letting you know the extent of the research that I go through. I am always looking. Always. And it's just not John Wayne. It's Tombstone. It's Bonanza. It's Gunsmoke. It's, you name it, I'm researching it. Lonesome Dove, Tom Selleck Westerns. You just name it, I'm researching everything, trying to get everything as close as humanly possible. My goal is always to, if I have my version and it's sitting next to the original, would you be able to tell the difference? Most of the time, yes, because I don't have the right fabric. But if I have a shirt made out of this and I go, oh, look, John Wayne shirt. And some of my photos that I've done places, people swear that I'm at a museum. Oh, what museum you at? No, not a museum, just my rendition, my version of you know, John Wayne or whatever. But this, like I said, is as close as that I am ever going to get. And I don't know, as I learned from Elaine, but see those like little slubs in that? That's what they're called. They're like little things in the fabric. And I really enlarged John Wayne's shirt. It has those little slubs in it. So, is this the fabric that John Wayne used? No. But, like I said, I don't think I will ever in my lifetime find anything closer than this. So, Searchers, Comancheros, McClintock. This is a good stand-in. Most people will never catch it. But that's just the way it is. Now, I think I might have one set of extra buttons left over, and I'm probably going to send this shirt back to Elaine and have her replace these buttons with these, and that way I'll have a correct Rio Bravo shirt, just because I'm super anal. So, I have over here another ready shirt. This shirt is from El Dorado. And this is what I call a one and done shirt. He only wore it once, and that was it. Kind of like the Rio Bravo blue shirt with the metal buttons. But this fabric, is a little brighter. This is a red orange, more orangey than this. I'm gonna step back. So you can see the one on the right is a little brighter. The one on the left, darker. And then the one in the center, very faded. And in Rio Bravo, he wears a wild rag. It's tan and it's real dirty. And in El Dorado, he wears this yellowy cream colored one. Now, in the Searchers, this is up for debate. I see it both ways. I've talked to my buddy Eric, aka Duke, and we don't know. And I don't know if anybody truly knows. But in the movie, when John Wayne is wearing this shirt, is he wearing a black wild rag or is he wearing a dark navy wild rag? Like I said, I pull up screen grabs and I can argue both points. It's black or it's dark navy. I don't know. And for you guys that are out there trying to come up with a John Wayne rendition of the Searchers, really, dealer's choice. You get a pick if you want the dark navy, or if you think it's black, get the black. Because I don't know. I mean, I'm just going to have one of each. And it's like my friend Duke said, he wears both. And he very well could have. I don't know. But that is the three red shirts that John Wayne wears in his movies. And I hope I've explained those to you well enough. And like I said, I do apologize that we are not going to be able to make that one for everybody. I really wish we could. I think that would look awesome on our website, and especially with some things that are getting ready to happen here. I thought I was going to be shooting the video today, but the item did not come in. It has not arrived to me yet. And so I'm just like, well, you know what? I'm going to talk about this. So, like I said, if you guys have questions, feel free to ask. I will talk a little bit about something real quick. John Wayne, to be correct John Wayne, the shirt must button all the way up. John Wayne wears typically, it's a dress shirt, guys, but I call it a Hollywood cut. that's what he wears. Now, if you're bigger, you need a little bit more room and stuff. I understand it. We do have the what we call cowboy cut. Cowboy cut is it's just made bigger, but the shirt does not button up and down all the way. I think it only buttons to basically right here, and you unbutton it, pull it over. Still has the bib and all that. But so that's one thing. And if you look really close at John Wayne, if you go back and look at the screen grabs and stuff, you can always see this button right here. Okay. A lot of John Wayne shirts have a tab that is sewn right here and it has a slit in it, and it's supposed to button to your pants and stuff like that. We do not do that, and here's the reason. Everybody's going to be a little different. In fact, John Wayne didn't even button his. He just has it there. And I just made the executive decision with Elaine that we were not doing that tab, because some guys got a real long torso. Some guys have a short torso. And that tab would be different on everybody. And you really don't see it in the movies and stuff. The reason I know it's there is because I have hundreds of photographs, if not thousands, of John Wayne auctions when they auctioned off his original shirts and what have not. And you can see that tab. Like I said, something that we're not putting on it. Once you tuck it into your jeans, you wouldn't see it anyway. And so we're just leaving that off. Just want you guys to know, the reason I mention that, I want you guys to know that I have studied every little detail. If I got into debates with people, I will not debate something that I'm not sure about. I've just always been that way. But if I'm willing to argue on the point, I'll bet everything that I own and everything I'm going to own in the future that I'm right. When I just have a passion for what I do, I study it. I mean, my wife says I have OCD. I just say I'm very anal on things. And like I said, always trying to make it better. And sometimes, unfortunately, we're in a different world now than we were, God, this Rio Bravo 1959, The Searchers, I want to say was started filming like 1956. Probably Hondo was started probably filming in 1952 or something like that. I think it came out in 53. I think The Searchers came out in, heck, maybe it was 58 when it came out. But like I said, we're talking a long, long time ago. And unfortunately, that stuff is just not out there. If it was, I promise you we'd be using it all. So anyway, there we go. A little bit on Rio Bravo, The Searchers, a little bit of El Dorado, talking about Duke shirts and the colors and buttons. Now, just so you guys know, on the El Dorado shirt, these buttons and stuff here, correct. It's just when you get to the bib shirt in the red shirts, the buttons change to the domed metal buttons. And I have done my damnedest looking at everything, contacting button companies and talking about them. And, sometimes, I was lucky enough to find those, and I'm happy with them. I can live with them. Now, if somebody ever came up and said, hey, I got a handful of John Wayne original buttons, or these are what he used on his shirts, I'll buy them. I'll have them put on my shirts. But that's just the way it is, guys. I wish, like I said, I had warehouses of the original stuff. Unfortunately, I don't. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this really long video of me rambling on. And I just can't wait. Guys, I am just foaming to do this video on what's coming up. So bear with me. Nobody wants it out there faster than me, but I got to get it in my hands. And our wonderful post office, I'm sure it'll probably take a trip around the world before it gets to me. Seems like that's what it always does. So anyway, as soon as it comes in, I will video it, and we'll be talking again about John Wayne. All right, guys, have a good one, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.